Welcome to Revolutionary Motion, where we show you tennis from a different perspective. Today we're going to talk about how high your backswing on your forehand should actually be. Now obviously there's not one single answer that fits for every single player, it doesn't fit for every single grip that's out there and so on. But here's a couple of reference points you can use to make sure that your backswing fits your game style. So when you're taking your racket back, you see some people take the racket back very high, some a little bit lower, some very low. Some people go straight towards the lowest part of where they drop the racket too. Now, what's the purpose of all this? The purpose is to try to create a loop. So if you're seeing it from the side, we want to make sure that we don't have to completely stop here before we start swinging forward. We want to make the whole thing more smooth and continuous. So for that purpose, we want to have a little bit of like an oval or circular motion back here that leads us into the swing. Now, the height of the backswing, or of the arm during the backswing, highly depends on what kind of shot you're trying to create. So if I'm, for example, trying to create a very flat and fast shot, my backswing wouldn't be as high, because if I took this huge high backswing and the ball is kind of down here and I'm trying to drop my racket and then hit forward, this circular motion will end very abruptly because I have to get a forward-backward motion going to hit the ball hard. The more circular the motion gets, the more topspin I will add to the ball, generically seen. So that means if I'm trying to hit it flatter, I want to keep my backswing a little bit lower so I can now immediately use that wrist lag to really propel my racket forward and use that whipping effect to hit my balls hard. Now if I'm trying to add more topspin on the other hand, I want to have a bit more of a circular motion, meaning my racket gets back a little bit higher so I can drop my racket a little bit more comfortably and really attack the ball from the bottom. You see it from the side. I'm trying to get my racket to go under the ball so I can swing up a little bit more. So in other words, the more topspin you want to use, the more circular your motion should be, your backswing should be, and thus also the higher the backswing should be. Now, do you ever need a very, very high backswing like this? Not really. There are a couple of players in history that had a very high backswing, one of them namely being Del Potro. He had a very high backswing and he still managed to hit very flat, but he's an exception. He's one of a few players that can hit with very little spin, hit it this high over the net no matter what the opponent does, hundreds of times in a row. While most other players out here that are not as talented as Del Potro, right, like you and me for example, we have to make sure that we make it a bit simpler for ourselves. So I would not advise to use such a high backswing because it makes it very difficult for you to actually find the right timing to swing forward if you're trying to hit a flatter shot. And it also makes it challenging because the higher the backswing, the longer the backswing. So that means it will take more time and the timing for your forehands will become a lot more difficult to perfect. So make sure that you keep your backswing on the lower end, not super low, but a little bit lower than that. I wouldn't advise to go much higher than shoulder level on most shots, and try to again follow that principle of more topspin, higher backswing, less topspin and more power, lower backswing, so you have more of a forward-backward motion on those harder shots and more circular motion on the topspin shots.
Hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys soon.